Have we failed these children as Nigerians? Have we failed as parents? If we have 8,000 children being recruited as foot soldiers, as shield, or, been turned to shield and used to fight against the Nigerian nation, have we failed the people who we've referred to as, leaders of tomorrow? What kind of leaders of tomorrow would we have if we have a whooping 8,000 children in the hands of terrorists? And this is our center of discussion this morning. Our guest is Comrade Dauda Mohammed Gombe, who is Executive Director, Northeast Youth Initiative for Development. He's joining us this morning in the studio. You too can be a part of it. Simply call 090-7353-0044 and 090-8766-8888. Send a message to 090-9705-4450. Now, Comrade Gombe, good morning and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Iheanacho.
Now, let's get to the conversation. We're talking about children today. 8,000, according to the UNODC report. 8,000 children. That's an alarming number. Over the space of about, say, 12 years. What came to your mind when you saw that report? First of all, let's start from there.
Okay, thank you very much, Iheanacho, for this opportunity. It is a pleasure being here today. Like you introduced, my name is Dauda Mohammed Gombe, the Executive Director of Northeast Youth Initiative for Development. NAIF is an organization established as a result of Boko Haram insurgency in the Northeast, precisely around 2011 in the Matriobe State, and currently working in the Northeast and the Northwest part of the country. So this report of UNODC, quite all right, is a disturbing report, a wake-up call, an alarm, an early warning. But to me, as somebody who witnessed this crisis, as somebody who is a survivor of the Boko Haram insurgency, to me, I see the number as even less. Although I understand from the side of the UNODC, trying to be just, not to go high. But if you look at the crisis of over 12 years, now with over 20-something thousand or 80 thereabout people who have been killed as a result of this, properties worth billions of naira destroyed, so many people, misplaced, over 2 million IDPs and raised. Talking about an insurgency with capacity of over 20-something thousand or thereabout to their families, we realize that with at some point taking over almost the entire local governments, or more than 30 LGS within Borno, Yobe and Adamawa State under their control, you will imagine the severity of the issue, you will imagine the consequences, you will imagine the situation we'll find ourselves and how the children. And these people, they can use anything to take advantage and shield themselves from, attacks from military and the government. Therefore, when you have the number of 8,000 children, to me it's even less, but let's stay where we have, because I always challenge just figures from the government and never come out from the Northeast, because whether it's from the government, whether it's from they are under reporting the figures, but yet I can tell you, no, we can say we don't have any, scientific data that will say that, okay, this is exact number or close to that number, but there are much more than that. You will bear with me in recent report, in recent videos on YouTube. Even now, if you search on YouTube, you will see some of these young people who have been, rescued by the military, showing how they have been commanding, attacks, showing that to display even without weapons, how they're even, and even the insurgents themselves, prior to now, they used to show videos and pictures of how they are training young children. You can see a child of 5 years being trained with stick. When they reach 7 years, they will start be handling weapons, this AK-47 and the rest. And before you know, at the age of 12 and 13, he commanded attack. And I can tell you, I witnessed that sometimes back in.
Tell us about that, because you mentioned that you're a survivor of, the Boko Haram attacks. And tell us about that. Tell us about your survival story.
I live in Damaturu, the River State capital. And during all these years of this insurgency, I was there. I never run away. And I live in the heart of Damaturu. If you remember, at some point, there is a time around 1st December, I cannot remember the year, 1st December, where the insurgents have almost taken over this capital city of Damaturu. They even entered the government house. On that very day, I saw with my naked eyes how a young boy is commanding many people, many full soldiers of Boko Haram in my area, giving them command. And he's not more than 13 to 15 years, I can tell you. But God save us with the intervention of the military, the resilience, the commitment. They were able to overcome them, kill many of them, send them to the early grave, and send so many out. So we have witnessed several attacks where you will see bomb blasts, you will see, so many things that are nightmares. When you are remembering them, you remembering how your own people are thinking, how ordinary citizens have been tortured, been suspect of Boko Haram. Because at some point, none of us as young people there is not being suspected. Almost everybody, people have to run, have to leave, because there is no civil-military relationship at that time that exists so well. So only a few of us who are in the civil society try to be working and creating and putting ourselves in the risks. At some point, as we are the only few, if you go back and check some of my interviews with the BBC, sometimes when there is the network service was called, I have to leave Damaturu, come to Bauchi, have an interview with BBC, BOA, and the rest, and go back and continue to speak. I never been afraid. I talk, I share on Facebook and everything. I was stand. And God in His mercy, today we are where we are. So we lost a lot. From people to properties, and we have witnessed autocracies. We have witnessed, sometimes when you look at the situation, like these children, they found themselves, many of them that they are soldiers now, to the child soldiers, they found themselves in that situation because they have no option. One.
Yes, can you tell us as a person who has worked in that area for quite a while, how easy or what is it that would make a child? How do these people convince these children to join them?
There is no issue of convincing. It is an issue of force. Even the young people at some point who find themselves in becoming Boko Haram or insurgent soldiers, they were forced.
How so?
These people will attack your community. When they attack the community, they kill who they want to kill. When they are killing, they will gather the people, kill so that they put fear in you, and ask, when somebody is holding a gun, bombs, and ask who want to join me, who will say no. And they will even select at some point, divide elderly here, male, female, the youth, the children, and select who they want to and take them off. Because there is a time when the military were able to overcome them, degrade them, reduce their size, reduce their number, reduce their figure. So at that point, they have no option rather than what? To force people, because they don't have money. In the beginning, they were using money, to convince people, but young people and some few children who are neglected, who were lacking parental upbringing, who are lacking societal, kind of favors that they need to be. Because there are a lot of young people on the street and children who are not attending school. There are so many people who are lacking shelter, who are lacking food and the rest. So they take all this advantage. In the beginning, they are given 100,000, many, later they turn to 6, later they turn even just, when you look at, let me digress a little, when you look at the crisis, it has so many faces, from religious parts to, politics, to so many other things. So they take these advantages. And when people are living in a village, when they don't have access to social amenities, when they don't have access to security, and they're surrounded with these people, what else do you think? You may read some of the previous report, that at some point the communities have to negotiate, like what is happening now in the Northwest, have to negotiate with these people, what they will pay them, what they will give them. Okay, you will give, if you don't have money, you will give your child. If you don't have this, you will do this.
So parents are giving their children up.
At some point, they don't have option.
Just to protect
At
themselves.
some point, the parents have to run and leave the children, because it is a kind of, when they attack your community at a 9 months old baby, 6 month old baby, it happens. So at some point, just after that, we do what we call FTL, family tracing and reunification, when we have those children that cannot go home, maybe the military rescue and the rest. So there are a lot of complications. The situation is so complex. It's so, so very difficult to explain at some point. Some issues, in fact, need to be even to be kept without saying. But the children, most of these children, to our understanding, to our knowledge, they are being forced, and few of them, they are children who have no option, because you are born, you see your father doing things. What else do you have? You don't have access. You are born in the bush, and this, so you have to join it and go into. So, quite all right. It is a difficult situation, but we are hoping with this report that government will do something and ensure that a kind of relief will be provided, so that these children will be rescued. The children, all opportunities, all chances for child recruitment into soldiers will now be, closed or even tackled, so that at least we'll have less or will not have any child, because every child deserves to have access to quality education, deserves to have access to quality health, deserves to have access to dignity and safe life, because we need not to force any child to what he doesn't want. And this is exactly, if care is not taken, what is going to happen in the Northwest, because there are conventions that prevent the military and the government from attacking communities where they cited children, women, and others. But you can even see in the Northwest how these people are raping young women, how these people are raping and taking advantage of this situation. And even in the war that is not here, in so many countries, naturally insurgents take advantage of children, elderly, and women to take shield from attack by government forces and the rest. But we have to work hard. We have to ensure that the only thing we will have is to sensitize, advocate, and engage government and relevant actors, especially the negotiators, those who can interface between, to talk to these people to stop doing that thing, because that will not aid and that will not help in creating the kind of society we want.
In the Northeast, that's also a big issue.
Yeah.
There's a lot of malnutrition in the Northeast, the children, leaving to starve and all of that. So we're talking about that, and also what government and individuals can do to support children in the Northeast. Stay with us on your radio experience. You can count on. You can join the conversation, by the way, on our socials at Eagles FM Abuja, and on Facebook at Eagles FM Abuja as well.
Abuja. Hey girl, what's up?
I'm good. Just chilling and wondering what we'll do to spice up our weekend.
We need to be pampered and taken care of.
I know, right? How about we chat with the girls to know their itinerary for the weekend?
They've wanted it for a while now, so they'll jump on this.
You're so sure? What are you thinking, though?
I'm thinking shopping, partying, restaurant hopping.
No. Something relaxing when you're talking about shopping and partying. Yes to the third, but no to others.
Okay. What do you think of body scrubbing, Haman bath, facial treatment?
Go on.
Pedicure, manicure, waxing. You can even fix your nails if you want to.
Wait, we will be going from one spot to another. I'll be from salon to spa.
You sure? You don't like stress? No, it's just one place. They have those goodies and offer amazing services. They even do body sculpting, and they have hairstylists too.
This spa is where again?
It's Gentle Touch Spa, located at number 2 Bolton Street, Sun City Estate, Abuja. For our reservations, I'll call 080-9269-9269 or 091-2410-6881. I'll check them out on their Facebook and Instagram pages at Gentle Touch Spa, Abuja.
Don't be late, See ya.
Gentle Touch Spa, redefining the beauty in you.
Eagles Morning Rise. Eagles Morning Rise with
Iheanacho Prince. You're on to your radio experience. You can count on. Time is 9:32 this morning on Eagles Outlook. We're talking the Boko Haram recruitment of over 8,000 Nigerian children in the fight against the Nigerian state. And well, the question is, have we failed Nigerians? As a parent, if one of these kids were yours, what would you do? Would you be quiet about it? Would you just sit back in your home, on your house, watch TV, and feel all good? Or would you be speaking to government and speaking to power and ensuring that these kids are brought back, reintegrated in society after being, what's the word for it now? Rehabilitated. Join the conversation. Call 090-7353-0044 and 090-8766-8888. You can send us a message on 090-9705-4450. Don't forget to join our live stream on YouTube and Facebook at Eagles FM Abuja. Watch us live and see our guest, Comrade Dauda Mohammed, who is Comrade Dauda Mohammed Gombe, who is Executive Director, Northeast Youth Initiative for Development. And, we've just been talking about the children in the Northeast, but then the situation is escalating. Yeah. It has gone beyond the Northeast. You mentioned the South, the Northwest. And we can just dwell in the Northwest alone or the Northeast and the Northwest, because the situation is spreading rapidly across other parts of the country. The North Central is affected. The Southwest, the Southeast, all parts of the country we have situations where people are kidnappers and terrorists in disguise. Okay? As it is, I want us to also quickly touch on the fact that a lot of children in this area, as a result of this insecurity, have been malnourished and are starving. In your work, have you come across these children who have been malnourished over time, and what is government doing to ensure that this is reduced to the barest? Because hunger forces people to do a lot of things. Some of these kids, like you mentioned, as a result of hunger, would go anywhere, would pick up guns, would join any society or any organization just to see that they survive.
Yeah, thank you very much. You see, when you talk about malnutrition, you talk about one of the areas my own organization is intervening. For the last 7 years, we have been working in the area of malnutrition. We have been partnering with UNICEF and Catholic Relief Services, CRS, to provide support to children. In Yobe State, in 2017-2018, we work in about 8 local governments where we engage and support the government.
Okay, please hold that thought. Let's bring in a caller. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
I'm calling from Nigeria.
Yes, what's your name, please?
I'm Thomas.
Thomas, go ahead. Let's hear you, please.
Yes, I'm very sorry to say this. This government is already a failed government.
No, Thomas, please keep your comments civil. You can't say government is a failed government. Please, let's not say that. Let's not toe that line. Speak to the issue, please.
There's nothing about this insecurity. They are doing nothing. The president, even the governor in our state, is doing nothing about it. They are keeping quiet, killing our people, killing our children, killing our wives. Nobody is responding. The governor is not responding well.
Governors are not responding. We're seeing situations where the president, for instance, yesterday just made mention of the fact that, or promised the Northeast people that things are going to change in the next few months, that they're going to see certain changes in the security situation. It seems like a lot of Nigerians have come to the point, yes, where they're angry, and pledges and all of that, and it seems like the situation isn't getting better.
We all have that at some point, and the problem we're having is that, the issue to do with the government itself. Sometimes the government underrates situation without doing proper, analysis, investigation, and study on the situation. They will come out and say, we'll do this, we'll do that. Unfortunately, when things turn out, they will not also come out and explain the reality to people, which makes people angry. What people are seeing that, okay, how can just 20,000 people will overpower over 800 or something there about security forces of a country.
We have a caller. Hello. Good morning. Hello. Good morning. Who's joining us? Anekon.
Yes.
Thank you very much for joining in. Go ahead. Let's hear you.
Thank you too. Well, it's nobody's fault for anybody to be angry about the information we are discussing. The last caller was very right to be angry because it's a very pathetic story to hear.
Yeah.
But moving forward, well, I think the issues have been in child bearing and child raising. Now we have issues like poor education in the northern areas of our country, whereby we have less people go to school and all that. So information like family planning and all that is not really cascaded to them, and they don't understand. Now these people go ahead to bear children and can't feed these children. And you see, some of them hungry. So when these banditry groups, hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, when these guys come around and recruit them, they come with the means of food first to quench their hunger. I mean, I have in the north, I have in Borno State, I saw a number of Amajaris always begging for food. Those children, they had parents, and they are still alive. But because they got them just by intercourse and because one got pregnant, you buy a child, they were not planned for. They were not planned for. These children were not planned to come to earth. And now they are here, you're starving them. Even you and I can adopt them and feed them. And give them where to sleep. And they obey us and just what I them to do. But it's a very sad story or a very bad story to hear that adults and parents would recruit kids, children, and groom them to take over their homework or their trademarks. It's evil. And like the last caller said, the government has failed us. We have policies from our president from day one till now. Nothing. 7 years you've been in power, say you've been in power, or 8 years you've been in power, you have not copped insecurity. You don't need a few months for your handover. Come on, let's call it they're having to. And start fooling ourselves. We're not children here. Thank you. And,
Nikon, thank you very much for calling. Thank you for calling. Now, yes, before that, you were talking about what you're doing with malnutrition.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So in that area, we have been doing providing RUTF, ready-to-use therapeutic food, to supplement the needs and for those children who are either in some situations severe acute malnutrition or medium acute malnutrition or in stabilization situation. Before you do, you have to wait, you have to check. There are a lot of processes that will identify whether this is Sam, whether this is mom, whether he has complication. So there are a lot of children as a result. Some people travel for so many times. People are living in abject poverty. People are living in a situation that is, quite devastating. So even for them to feed the healthy food that they can supplement to their children through breastfeeding and other things, it becomes an issue. But with this situation, with the effort of the government, the situation is been reducing. And I know even last week, my organization in Damatru, we distributed 9 milk to 98 identified children for 1 month who are in, we can say, less situation to complement their stability. This is personal effort from our organization and some few individuals, because we identify and we talk to them and they say, okay, this is the price, this is what we don't want your money, just contribute. They contribute and we're scaling off to do much. But what I can say to you, the issue of malnutrition, but government partners and others are doing their best. But that cannot be enough without the support of the people. Some of these things we can just do them within our backyard. Those fruits, those vegetables, those things that will come, we can do them.
All right.
But the situation
Hello,
is that
we have another caller. Hello, good morning. Good morning. Sorry, we can hardly hear you. It seems like the network is terrible. Who are we on to? Okay. Please try to call the other line. Call the other line. And the numbers are 09073530044 and 09087668888. If you can't pull through the phone lines, just send us a message. We'll be glad to read them. 09097054450 for WhatsApp and SMS. We're talking about, the 8,000 children, according to the UNODC report that says 8,000 Nigerian children have been recruited by Boko Haram to fight against the Nigerian state. And it's a very, very terrible story to hear that people's children, these kids could be yours. And if they were, how would you feel? What would you do about it? Would you just sit back and allow government at all times and talk about government when you can actually play a role as kids who have been left on their own without parental guidance and love? What do you think about that? Or how would you respond to such a situation?
The first and foremost, let me use the term that we don't want to use earlier. The issue is the failure of government. Poor governance is the cause for all these things. If we have a government, the government that is working, the government that has political will, the government that cares much about its people, and we have a system that punish and put people on the right path, I don't believe we will come to this level. But the issue is that the government failed to do a responsibility. For instance, when we talk about education, when most times I have issues with people only refer to conventional education as form of education. But to me, and to anybody who believe, religious education is also a form of education, because you cannot be well equipped, sound without having the both. So we need both at some point. But the issue is that even the conventional education that the government is handling, have we achieved? Have we reached the level? These are some of the questions that these people will ask you. If you go to our schools, they are fully equipped. Dilapidation everywhere, lack of qualified and sound teachers. Up to date, as a country that has been colonized by British, we need to, before we even secure admission in some of the British schools, we need to write IELTS. So up to now, also continue to embark on strike, because the government cannot afford to provide the needed system in the school. But even though that is not excuse, but these are some of the excuses that this parent, okay, even the system you talk about is not doing what. And we have a lot of graduates that today will not even get job. Job is now today for those who have the eyes, who have the people there. So if we send our children to do this education, what is it?
But there's an argument.
Even though those Almajiris, we have contention that some of them have been sent for the purpose of that, because some of them, like he said, some of the people they give birth to children that cannot take care of themselves, which is not allowed Islamically. Islam said that you should be able, and on the day of judgment, God will ask you about those that he put under your control. And many people, because of, ignorance, illiteracy, will not even understand that and to take care. So, even that Al-Majri is not Islamic. But it is a system that we borrow and we're using it. And unfortunately, everything in this country, we will borrow or will food, but we will not do it in the right way. If you go to Sudan, they have Al-Majri system, but it is not the way we are doing. They confine them in one place, provide the feeding and everything. This is what we have been agitating, and at some point, some malams have started using that. If you are bringing your child to them, you have to take care of his feeding, you have to take care of his clothing, you must come back every 3 months or thereabout to check about his status, his health condition and the rest. And this have started working in some of the northern Nigerian states. And this is the modern way we are going. But still, we have some of these children, we have some of these, locals who believe that is the only way you can acquire that. But that is, a kind of situation that require a lot of sensitization, a lot of awareness creation, a lot of engagement with government.
All right, let's bring in a caller quickly. Okay. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Good morning, we can hear you. What's your name?
Hello.
Good morning, we can hear you. What is your name?
My name is Mustafa Abdullah.
Mustafa Abdullahi, go ahead. Let's hear you, Mustafa.
Hello?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Hello?
Mustafa, talk to us. We can hear you.
Maybe
All
he's
right,
trying
seems
to
the network
talk
is-
to us and listen
listen,
to his radio.
maybe.
Yeah.
Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Yes, good morning. We can hear you. What's your name?
Yeah, my name.
Thank you.
You see, what the topic will bring is a very good topic. And it's good to some of our leaders to be able to listen to some of your program so that they will know they want to learn. You see, I'm not know how they're going to stop the problem of a migrant in Nigeria. In the migrant school, they try to fix the place and get them out of the street. That's what I've always done. They don't want to see the young children, they move in the street at the time of the school time. But the government, when the government came to power, they said that is a scam. And they use those places where the people of migrants begin to kill here and begin to keep things. You see? So it needs the government. Because the one thing in the north, the one government not bless at all. A lot of this is about to happen. You see, I see these people, when they grow up, they write and they went to some community. And there's a community that if they don't settle so price, they cannot go to farm. A lot of things they've been happening. And this government not even dress up the revenue of that. And I'm telling you, when the government will go out of the power and go from the north to solve the problem of the north now, and the other people will come there from the south, what are they going to do? You know what? If the present government, I want the present government now to stop this matter when people going to the community. Instead of people to go to farm, they're going to so million before they go to farm, or they go and affect the to score. Now, if the present government not stop, it's going to be more problem.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Friday.
So the government need to stand up now
Okay.
to say Boko Haram and bandits no more forgiveness. They don't want, as you see there in the studio.
Okay.
If you see Boko Haram and the bandits where kill somebody by the one mother, are you going to tell them that they forgive you? Only that are hitting with them, come and tell Nigeria and say people they are repented.
Thank you very much, Friday. We get you.
That they are all these people's children. Kill people father, they're not ready to go back to farm or to do something. And that's what they said.
Thank you very much, Friday. We get your point. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, my friend.
Good morning, Paul. It's good to have you. Go ahead. Let's hear you, please.
Hello, please, can you hear me?
Paul, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yes, I said the contribution that we're having this morning, especially from your guest, I want to commend him for contributing to this solving the problem of this menace. Because NGOs like him are trying, but the strength, they don't have enough strength. Especially most of these things need resources. That's why government needs to look for ways to cut these things down drastically by making sure that most of these religious leaders are engaged when which at least they preach, they tell the parents that these things that you are doing, they are not good. You don't give birth to children and leave them to be roaming around like that, move from one state to the other, and then not minding what they eat, not minding where they sleep, not minding what kind of thing they get. So if religious leaders continue to preach against all these things will be reduced. And then the National Orientation Agency too, they need to do more work. Because these things in the north is like wildfire. And we have a lot in our hands. We don't know how this thing will end.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, if the parents they don't take care of these their children and say, okay, Almajiri is a system, they can go to another place and do their things and come back. At the end of the day, if they're indoctrinated into the wrong belief, it will come back to haunt them.
Okay.
It will come back to haunt them. So a lot of things need to be done.
All right, Paul.
And I want to say thank you to our guests, NGO like this, to see how they can take care of these children. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have an amazing day, Paul. Now, let's close this. We need to drop the anchors now. Just recently, the president, inaugurated the repatriation, return, and resettlement of internally displaced persons. What do you think? What do you want to see that program do for IDPs, especially children?
Okay, yeah. Before going there, let me a bit say some good news on the issue of the Almajiri. Recently the federal government has established a program, BESDA, Better Education for All Service Delivery, which is working with these Almajiri schools, building classrooms, building hostels. This has been working, and I can tell you, if you go to state like Yobe, the governor has taken strict measures in ensure that no longer any Almajiri on the street or the Kaduna. And some of the northern governors, Almajiri, today I can tell you half of the people on the street, they are not Almajiris. They are from their parent houses, but because they are getting money on the street, go to Abuja, maybe within the clubs days, in the night around Muse, you will see women with their children, sending the children to go, and this thing has been frightening me since I come to Abuja. I say, wow, where is the Abuja authorities? What is happening? Are these Almajiris? They are not Almajiris, but they are taking the banner of Almajiri, doing that things. And this is happening everywhere. In fact, when this insurgency, Boko Haram and the rest come, this issue of Almajiri have even, gone to some